Hello, I'd just like to share with you this photo shoot that my friend Lee and I did on the boat. It was really good fun, and we both I had my camera, my D3, and Lee had his Sony, and it was a real challenge. So I've sort of been teaching Lee portrait photography for a little while. We've done a few shoots together, as you may have seen, and yeah, this was like the next challenge for him, really, because it really, really was a challenge inside my boat. There wasn't very much space, the light was low, it was really tricky. And to add to how tricky it was, we had no 240-volt electric, so we couldn't plug in any lights, so that's why the light looks a little bit flat, because we couldn't backlight, you know. Anyway, I wanted to show you how you can kind of rescue some images using some crafty editing skills, and it's really good fun to bring them back to life. So what Lee found particularly frustrating was the background. Everything was just so cluttered behind me. So I put a radial blur, I think it was, on here, and then I don't know if you noticed that just went lighter in the corners there. So a vignette just helps even more to bring the eye in and just to get rid of all that distraction. As you can see, I was having an absolute whale of a time. I was completely in my element. But poor Lee, he was having a nightmare. He did really find this quite tricky. But look at this one, right? So obviously it's quite dark there in the boat, but with some careful editing, da, 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 it's not bad, is it? Nice bit of high key black and white, you just can't beat it. As you can see, Lee is always really well prepared, and he bought this little light that we used. You've got to be quite careful where you situate it, of course. I found that it was sort of shining in my face, so we had to keep moving it around. But as you can see, again, I just cut around myself in these ones and then blurred the background. So you can just cut around the subject and then go select inverse and then just do some funky blurring on the background, and it kind of clears up any mess that you can see. The corridor of the boat was also particularly tricky because the light was shining through onto my body, but where my head was above the window, there wasn't any light on my face. So again, really, really tricky. And I think Lee did absolutely fantastically. I love this shot. Need a haircut, eh? This shot was lovely again, and I did some editing on this that I wanted to share with you. So I just cut myself out and lightened myself there, and then put a little bit of a vignette around it, because it was sort of dark around the outside. And then I blurred the background as well here, just to again bring the eye into the subject. So I just cut around the background and put a lens blur on. And then I got on top of the roof of the boat in my stilettos, as you do, which was just great fun. We had such a great time. And we finished off with an absolutely cracking shot. Absolutely love this shot. So, I mean, I think you can very often go through a photo shoot like this, and you can spend like sometimes 3 or 4 hours with a photographer, and you might only get 1 or 2 shots that you absolutely love. I think as a photographer, it's really easy to like. Certainly, I find this with myself. You really want to give the people their money's worth if they're paying you for the shoot, or you want to make them happy and you want them to love the pictures, and you put a lot of pressure on yourself, and you take millions and millions of shots. But actually, we're all so self-critical, aren't we? So for me to get a couple of shots out of a shoot that I love is a fantastic result. And I just want to give Lee some feedback, really. I want to say a massive thank you for this, because I really enjoyed it. It's great fun. I think you did amazingly well, and you remind me very much of myself when I started out as a portrait photographer, and I still do it now. I think like feedback for both of us is to actually just slow down a little bit. And I had a shoot recently, and I just found that I was doing my machine gun technique and just taking millions of shots. And then, of course, the editing takes hours and hours and hours. And I think when you just learn to slow down, like really take some time over each shot, getting it right, then I think you'll be happier with the results because you won't miss little bits of detail. Like I remember, I always try and check all the four corners of the viewfinder before like clicking the button, because you've only got to like miss a curtain overhanging or something in the corner of the shot, and if you've taken 30 or 40 like that and you've missed something, oh, it's so frustrating. So yeah, just really for Lee, the next step I think is just slow down a little bit, and we'll keep looking at the light, looking at the angles, looking at the positions and the posing, and we'll just learn from keeping practicing in all different scenarios. So yeah, fantastic. Thanks, Lee. See you soon. Bye.